Hey, what's up? This is Seth Green, and you are listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark, and I am so hot, I would desperately like a glass of water. Please, please, give me some water.
This is Cindy Preston, and I'm with Mark on Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Melissa Peterman from CMT's The Singing Bee and the television show Reba. And I have to tell you, I just have to get it off my chest, I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi there. This is Faith Roscoe from General Hospital. You're listening to Mark on Somewhere in Vegas. And you better watch out. We know how to find you if you're not listening.
Hi, this is Shannon Egan from Whippet, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hey, this is Lee Allen Baker with Somewhere in Vegas, talking with Mark with a Q.
This is Courtney Cronin. You're listening to Somewhere in Vegas with your host, Mark, and I would make sure to listen every week because he's a sure bet.
Hey, this is the Money Man, Eddie Money. I got 2 tickets to Paradise, and it's, you know what? It's Somewhere in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Hi, this is Crystal Gale, and I love Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Terry Nunn from Berlin, and you're listening to Mark Somewhere in Vegas.
Hi, this is Miracle Laurie from Joss Whedon's Dollhouse. There are 3 flowers in a vase, and I'm listening to Somewhere in Vegas with Mark.
Hi, this is Erin Hill, and you are listening to Mark on Blog Talk Radio and Somewhere in Vegas. Mark is a great guy.
Hi, this is Sean Pulaski. I'm still trying to figure out Mark Pico's sexuality, but I know you're listening to Somewhere Live in Vegas.
Here you go, Mark. I'm sorry. I thought you were she. I'm sorry. Get out of the tent. Let's get out of here.
Hey, this is Lance and Anna from Free Radio. And Anna?
And you're listening to Somewhere in Vegas.
Yes.
My favorite.
You know, that's usually what happens with me. I go to Vegas and I get lost, and so I end up somewhere in Vegas.
Somewhere in Vegas.
But I just don't know where it is.
Not quite sure.
Yeah, word.
Get ready. It's going to be hot. It's in Vegas. Check out Mark. Be there or be square.
My guest at this time really has a very fascinating story. I mean, coming from where she's come from all the way here to being a part of one of the bigger movies this past summer in The Tax Collector, and her career is just budding by leaps and bounds over the past year or so. I'm really privileged to have Cheyenne Hernandez on with us right now. How you doing, Cheyenne?
Hi, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, first of all, we were talking right before we went on there. You're down in Australia right now. What are you doing down there?
I actually came out here for 4 days, and then COVID hit, and I got stranded. So I've been here ever since.
Well, how's everything been down there while you were, obviously stuck down there? I mean, I've got quite a few friends that are from Australia as well. So yeah, how's it been? What's it been like down there?
I love it. I love Australia so much. I mean, I was probably born to be Australian. I mean, everybody says exactly what they're thinking out here. It took some time to get used to, but I love it.
Now, are you on the East Coast or West Coast of Australia?
I'm in Melbourne.
Melbourne. Awesome. So have you been enjoying, I mean, obviously the seasons are reversed down there, so you're probably heading right into spring right now, right?
Yeah, it's still cold right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have quite a few friends that are from there as well. So I mean, it's kind of, what's kind of the atmosphere right now with COVID over there? And I know New Zealand's kind of almost got it 100% eliminated, but how's it over there in Australia?
We were fine for a while, and then there was some issues that it started to spread a bit. So now we're on full-blown quarantine again. So only one person can go to a store at a time. You can only be outside for 2 hours. It's pretty heavy. And not a lot of people going out, but I think that's going to be lifted here pretty soon.
And what have you been doing down there, like passing the time?
Honestly, I'm a homebody, so I love it. I've been spending a lot of time. I've been, working on my craft, still taking lessons. I'm writing a lot, so I've written a couple of screenplays. I'm still working on them. I've picked up painting, so just art.
Yeah, I know. I've been the same way. I've actually written a couple scripts myself. So yeah, I've been using this time very wisely to do that. So Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, it does help us out in terms of, always wanting to do something that we never have time for because we're already busy working. So, how that is, we finally do have time to kind of pursue some of our hobbies and some of the things that we want to do maybe later in life.
Oh yeah, it's been great. It's been really eye-opening as far as time goes. You think that you have all the time in the world, and then everything gets taken away, and then you just kind of have to look inside yourself. So it's really interesting. I don't know. I like it.
Well, I'm talking about pursuing passions. I mean, your journey has been absolutely unbelievable, to say the least. Here you are going into the military at age 16, and after that, having a tragedy basically turn into what was a passionate mission in your case as well. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the reasons why you wanted to go in the military that young, and kind of your experiences there.
Well, I love my hometown. I come from El Paso, Texas. I have an amazing hometown. But I always knew that my destiny was out there somewhere. And I knew I wanted to act. I knew that I loved art. But I also had other interests. I was a very rowdy child. My brothers and I, we used to always be wrestling. I was in Police Explorers, ROTC. So I probably knew that I wanted to join the military about 9 or 10. And then so once I hit 16, that I heard about that Future Soldier program, where you go train with the recruiters before basic training. So you have a mini swear in, and then you swear in again right before you leave. And so I did that, and my parents were not happy. They wanted me to go to college, but I had no interest in going to college whatsoever. And I knew that I wanted to help people. My grandparents had been in the military, so I'd always heard stories. I knew that I didn't want to owe anybody anything. So it was just the obvious choice for me. And then so as soon as I hit 17, I left.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I mean, did you take up any sports while you were younger or whatever? Because, obviously, your rowdiness, and then, we talk a little bit about your fight training later, but did you take up any sports while you were younger?
I really wanted to be in boxing, but my grandma was like, absolutely not. She kept saying, Mija, your face is going to pay for you one day. So she didn't let me go box. So I started working for Golden Gloves Boxing Association because I wanted to be next to the fighters. I just wanted to learn about it. And I was on the flags team in band. So I was always spinning stuff. I used to love to spin the rifles and the sabers, and I was always getting injured. And then from there, I went to the armed drill team in ROTC. So I was spinning really heavy rifles filled with cement. So I just I liked the hands-on stuff. And then that's where my parents drew the line. They were like, okay, if you're going to be doing all this, you can't. I wanted to be in basketball. I wanted to be in softball. I wanted to be in everything. But, you have to pick and choose. So that's where they cut me off. And then I eventually wandered into Police Explorers, which is just pretty much following police around and learning and getting pepper sprayed and stuff. But so I knew that law enforcement or military was going to be my thing. Yeah.
Now, are you still a big fan of boxing?
I love boxing. Yeah. I'm in MMA, so I absolutely adore it. It's one of my big passions, as well as acting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to see the women right now. They've been so solid right now. Clarissa's kind of, leading the charge with Katie Taylor and a bunch of these women that are really kind of making themselves, making themselves a niche as well. They're taking off of what MMA is doing right now. So it's got to be exciting for you to be able to see that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome. I think in another life, I would have loved to have done that. It's a bit late for me now, I think, but I really love just fighting at the dojo and getting my hands dirty. And then to see those girls do that too. It's so inspiring, really. I really look up to them. I think it's just awesome.
Do you have a favorite female fighter?
I really like Ronda Rousey. Like I really like her, and I can't pronounce her name right, so I'm not going to say. But she just recently won against. Oh my God! I think her last name is Wen, but I don't want to try her first name.
Oh, is it really Zhang you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually run a website called wombatsports.com, so I cover a lot of the mixed martial arts. So that's how I know a lot about it.
I follow her on Instagram, and she seems like just such a joyful person, as well as like a badass fighter. So I really like her. I think she's really cool. I think her personality really won me over as well as her fighting.
Yeah, I mean, Millie's really cool. I mean, Rose is really cool too. I mean, when eventually they're going to fight, because I think they are, it's going to be very interesting because both of them are the most friendliest people in the world. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of happens. So we'll have to see what goes down there as well. I may have to, if there's ever a Invicta fight that comes out to LA at some point or whatever, maybe I'll have to, well, maybe I'll hook up with you and we'll go and see it together. I follow them. I am impressed with them usually. So I think you'll enjoy it. Now let's get back to the story. I mean, so you get in the military, and then your brothers decide that they want to go that route as well. And sorry to say, there was an accident before that ended up happening, and then that's where kind of started, your path towards wanting to act. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I was still in the military, and I had two brothers, Isaiah and Joshua. Well, I mean, by blood, they're my cousins, but the way we grew up, I just had called them my brothers because my parents had me and I was an only child. And then my mom's sister got pregnant with Isaiah at the same time my mom was pregnant. And so we were all kind of thrown in as a litter and raised that way. And so I joined the military. I was a combat medic serving in Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. And Isaiah, he was 1 year behind me in school. So he had just graduated and he enlisted in the Army. He was going to try to get stationed with me. So I'm over there. I'm making plans. My brother's going to come and join me. We're going to have so much fun. And then Christmas Eve of 2014, I was actually home on leave, and I get a call from my mom saying that both Isaiah and Joshua were killed by a drunk driver. So I mean, my whole world was just turned upside down. I went into a really bad place. I was suicidal. The Army, they don't take emotions well. So the Army put me on really, really heavy medication. So I was pretty much a zombie for a couple of years. And that was during the suicidal stuff. And after that, I moved to Seattle. I became an alcoholic at some point. I was really, really bad. And then I kind of realized that everything that I had promised them, I wasn't doing. So at their funeral, I promised Isaiah that I would make it for both of us. Because him and I, we wanted to do everything together. We wanted to be on the big screen. We wanted to go to auditions. And so every time I audition, I write his football number on my hand and I do it. And, but that moment when I decided to go do it, I feel like it was either a do or die kind of moment. Either I did it or I wasn't going to be around much longer. So it was kind of like a life-saving decision, as well as my commitment to my brothers. So it was really from one day to the next too that it happened. I packed up my cat and all of my stuff, and my grandma flew down to Seattle. Her and I drove to Texas to take my cat and leave him there, and then I drove back. I drove to LA, and I lived out of my car, or I couch surfed on friends' couches and stuff until I met my acting coach, and then I started to go from there. But yeah, it was pretty wild, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where things. It's like a lot of people think that you just get discovered. It's sometimes just a way, it just happens to happen to meet the right people at the right time. But sometimes there's a big struggle in between the fact that you say, I want to become an actor, before you make your big break as well. I mean, have a person, an acting coach that helped you out in terms of that. And, working towards that dream. I mean, tell me a little bit about the struggle of coming from, basically being homeless to making it to, your first